let's get this heater back together again. Right, the matrix has survived. It was very, very bunged up, so obviously put the cola in there, loosened all the shit up. The car's been running for some considerable amount of time without antifreeze in it. The first time I kind of back flushed it, the water that came out was very, very fizzy gravy. So it wasn't the best, and I just kind of flushed it, back flushed it, flushed it, back flushed it, flushed it, back flushed it, cold water, then hot water, then cold water, then hot water. And it loosened all the crap. And now I've got a good flow on this thing. So that can go back in. That's the original old stock matrix. It doesn't leak, so it's going to go back in. Good flow. What we really need to do is to put the motor back in here. But what I'm going to need to do is to take the wires off this fella. Just snip that about there. That's the old motor. This is the one that is ruined. Ruined, I tell you. Ruined. I've got a new motor, which is here, but it comes with the wiring's all different on it. So what I'm going to do is butt splice it together. Now, when this all goes together, you will notice there's subtle differences in the way that the motor actually, the casing actually looks on this thing. So, but they do fit in, they do work, believe me. So what we're going to do is yellow is the positive supply, we'll cut that off there, and brown is the earth supply, so we'll cut that off there. I want to give myself as much of this shit as I possibly can. Then we're going to need to butt splice them together. Don't need that. We're going to need to butt splice onto this. So we've got an earth and we've got a brown, because basically, rather than using that resistor, because it doesn't actually fit into the casing, we'll use the original resistor because it does fit into the casing. Butt splices, or box splices, are very good actually. I mean, you can solder the wires together, but I tend to use these little fellas. You put the two wires, one in each end, crimp it, crimp it, crimp it, and then use a bit of heat for Mr. Shrinky to work. Mr. Shrinky is very good. In order to crimp it, you have a botch crimper. So all this stuff came from vehicle wiring products. Escaping gas. I'll have the radio on at 4 o'clock to hear what Uncle Boris is going to tell us. I suspect it is not going to be good news. Right. So we decided yellow was positive. So we got here. That goes into there. Yellow. That goes in there like that. And then we just crimp him. Thus, beautiful. And red goes into there. And again, we just crimp him. One butt connector. Right, what I do need to do is find Mr. Lighter. Felix, as he's otherwise known. Do you name your tools? Mr. Lighter might not be up to the job here. Mr. Lighter might be a bit crap. I was going. Obviously all I'm doing is just melting the heat shrink. Now if I was going to go utterly berserk on this, I would put a heat shrink over the top of it. But I know using that tool that it doesn't penetrate through the insulation we've got here. And it's going into a plastic casing anyway. That's good. Nice. Right, okay, let me do the other one now. Should cut a bit of solder off there because that's the solder that went onto the back of the old motor. Goes there. Still a bit of solder on there, a bit of tinning. There we go. Obviously the bot connector will work a lot better if, I don't know why I say it like that. Butt connector will work a lot better if there's no tinning and the wires are free to shift around and do what they want. The strands of the wire, I should say. Right, just a bot. Done it again, you see. I don't know where it's coming from. That goes in there. This way round. And might have just missed that one. I did just miss it. Oh, that's good. Shrink this on. "'Twas the Saturday before Christmas and not a creature stirred, because we've all been told to stay at home. Limit our work. If you can't work from home, then you're allowed to travel. I can't do this from home. It was all here. I've travelled a mile to my workshop." Right, that's done that. Now, when it goes into the casing, what we'll do is I'll show you with the old one first of all. What you basically got is you've got a high point and you've got a cutout point. There's the cutout point. Now the cutout point needs to go and mate up against these two lugs here. 2 lugs on that side, so you've got the duck vader, 2 lugs on that side. The cutout, it's important the cutout goes to and mates into, you can see it's a nice tight fit in here, which is good because they don't want to walk out, you see. I'm not going to bang it all the way home, but then you can see how that goes in. So we're going to need to do much the same thing with this one. Now, the cutout on this is that bit there. Okay, don't think that's all the cutout bit, it's that bit there. And I guess it's something to do with the thrust face of the fan, and really how it kind of all goes together, I guess. I don't know. I really don't. I'm not that clued up on these things. What we do need to do though is get the cables aligned. So that goes in there. That was my phone, I think. Someone sending me a text. Right, okay. The slight issue we've got here is that these cables need to come through side by side in the middle of that cut through. This might be a cock up actually, because what we're going to end up doing, we've got 2 cutouts for the cables here, so I'll get the negative cable to go through the other side, because otherwise there won't be enough give on the that's in there, and that's almost in there. Come on, you bastard. There it is now. Right, now we'll push this down. Now we've got the cables in the correct locations. That should now go all the way home. It should go all the way in until it goes click. Why is it not moving? Don't want to force it. We don't need to force, Richard. So because the cable's slightly... No, it's not the cable. So I can see through there. The cable's free. Push it backwards and forwards. And that cable's free. And that's free. It is going. It's just that the clips, I think, on the casing are quite tight. Now that's definitely not going to go. What is stopping it? Oh, there's a lug on here. Right, okay. No, I have to now look again at this. This is going to come off. This sometimes happens. So this motor part is designed for a billion different applications. And what we've basically got here is 2 lugs. On one of these things I've had, there's been a big kind of bracket mounted on the side. But these 2 lugs are in the way of it going into the casing. It shouldn't have those lugs. You see, that's completely clean casing. So, how am I going to get those off? Probably just fold them back in again, to be honest. Let's see if we can fold them back in. Yes. Yeah, that's just folding back in. That's good. That'll do that one. Almost done it anyway. And this one wants to go this way. part of an external case, you see, that goes over the top of the joblet. Let's revert back to where we were. Poke all this shit through here again. That's right, that way round, Richard. Resistor, thingy bob. And it wants to go in that way round. Can you imagine what I would be like if I was holding the camera at the same time? It's candid enough as it is. That goes. That's in. Right, now that is going up, and basically what it's done now is it has caught up against those two plastic lugs. I want to twist it slightly. I think that's in. Yes, it is. It's in. Right, so we've got the two cables in, and we've got the fan in, and it turns. So basically, what I've done, other than the standard mechanism, I just put one cable up either side. It'll work. All right, and that's in, and it turns freely. It turns very freely. What we could do with, I guess, is just testing that really before we go absolutely berserk on it. Let's connect. I've got, this is the loom that would have gone connected onto it originally, you see. We've got two wires. So if I connect this onto here, that's the motor loom that connects on. And I'm going to need to get my battery and a couple of jump nuts. Don't do that. Back in 1 second. Let's connect up. So we've got positive, and then I should be able to connect this up to negative. Is it rotating the right way? Yes, it is. I'd say that's good. Tested. Works. Right, jump needs that out of the way. This can come off. What we need to do now, I think, is put this end plate back on. Right, so that goes through there. The wiring goes through there. The resistor chappy just clips onto here, onto this kind of heat soak on the back. Let's put it the right way around, Richard. So it goes on like that, you see. And then this fella then goes back in the correct way round, which is that way round. So we're going to have to just tuck the wires in. There is a slot that this piece of metal needs to go into at the back there. So when you're just putting it back together, you just make sure it goes into that slot. I can see it. You'll see exactly what I mean when you kind of pull yours apart. And then what we've got is a whole shitload of screws to put back in. So I've got all the screws here, loads of them. Just line everything up. Remember, on this end of the heater casing, you've got all of the fresh air vent actuator and stuff like that. We'll just get that in there. A couple of these in, and then we can move on to the next bit. Obviously, being careful of these fellas, you don't want to be putting any load on them because they do snap. Let's put this flap back in. So he needs to go in here, and he goes up there. He needs to go through this hole here. So it kind of slots in. It's quite tight in this bit here. It can be like faff to get in, but they do go like that. See, he's gone in, and he's in. So that's the fresh air internal kind of vent. That fella allows the air to ram through from the bonnet vents. Okay, so that's that done. I'll leave that there for now. Let's take this on its end. Heater matrix next. So he goes in like that, and then there's a blank bit of plastic that just slots into there. Goes down. I think that's more or less where it needs to be. That can sit there for the time being. Next thing we need to piss around with is the control panel from the front. So this whole control unit here. In fact, there's a rivet, pop rivet still stuck on that. I need to take that off before it goes back together again, because otherwise I'll end up drilling it and he's out. Now these things, they do flop around, but you need to make sure that they go into the right location. So basically, you've got this plastic piece on the back here goes into a slot there. Ah, more good news from Boris, I'm sure. That goes in like that. Okay, and then these things need to go up behind this piece here. So done that, that can all come over here, wait over there for a moment, that can come over there, that can go over there, that can go over there, that can go there, that can go there, that can go there. Now, we can mate the two halves of the clamp back together again now. Now the problem you're going to have with this is, again, it's this flap here. They're a pain in the arse. See, that one's come out. Let's put that one back in. So that was the bottom. No, it wasn't the bottom one. It was the one at the back. It's the fresh air matrix. Did you go that way around, or did you go the other way around? I might run that way around. Wherever it goes, it has got it goes that way round. So it's got to go that way round, so it has to go this way round into here. I'll explain why in a second. So we'll put those flaps there. These two flaps are held in because they've got the control rods for the vent control, for the vent actuation, whatever. So we'll get the front lined up, we'll get that lined up, we'll get that lined up. That fella needs to go into that hole there. That fella needs to go into that slider there. That fella goes into that one. That's going into that one. And again, just being careful as you kind of, if it's not going together, there's always a reason why. Don't force the basket. But it should really just drop down and into position. There's just quite a few flaps, you see, to piss around with. Just needs a little bit of my concentration, which is not really getting at the moment when I'm talking. Right, there's that one. And then we've got this one. It's always easier putting these things apart than just putting them back together again. Right, that's that. Now, so all of the flaps are in the right place, but what we've not done here is put that into there and that into there. Right, it's kind of dropped down where I want it to be now. That needs to go into there. That is in there. Around here, that is possibly not where it wants to be. And I think now the only thing we've got here blocking this now is this big one at the back. The one that always causes piston problems. Again, just really, that goes in there. That one, there's one here, it's not mated correctly, so that one's not gone in. And I think the one on the other side's probably not gone in. That one's in, that one's not in. There can be a bit of a faff to get all of the flaps lined up and even, and the right side as well. This one should go. okay. That one is okay. No, it's not. That was not gone in. Again, what's happening here is that there's kind of guides and things, I guess, that help these things slot together. Right, that's in. This one here is so close I can see it. I need to get a flat blade screwdriver onto that. There it is. Really close. This one as well is in. Is this one in? That one's in. That one's lined up. I think the only ones we've got problems with now are over here. It's this one. That one. I wonder if that was the problem. This one here. That might have been the problem actually. This one here. Not gone in the right location. It has now. That's in the right location. That's in the right location. Still that one. Good. Let me just push the top piece together so the top flap is no longer in the way. It's done that again. Come on, you fucker. I wonder why it's doing that. Because this, I think, is what the problem is. This one, the front, the fresh air vent. A very long screwdriver. Right, that's there. That's in the right place. This one down here is not. It is now. Almost. And that is going in. This one pops out. Let's have a look at this one. problem, you see. Now this one's fucking me around, and he's right down here. That one's in. That one's in. That one's in. That one's popped out again. It's weird. Oh, this one keeps doing this. Right, it's back. That one's in. I hope you're keeping up with this. That one's in. The one that was causing me a problem last time. This one still is just dicking me around just a tiny bit. It's in now. And I think we should be able to push this together now. Let's put that against there. That one's in. That one's in. That one's in. Around. That one's on its way in. That one's on its way in. So close. What is not in? Is it this one? That one's in. That's it. Something's gone wrong here. That's one there. That's it. We're there. Right, that's it. Together. So what was basically happening there was it was this flap at the front here had gone right back, fallen right back. Now, when I push the rod up and down, it does what it's supposed to do. So that's good news. Right, put a couple of clips on this, hold it into place. So these things, standard clips, I'll just put a couple of them on here just to keep everything together. Oh. Clippity clippity clip. That can go on in a second. We'll worry about those in a moment. Matrix is in. Then what we really need to do is to make sure all of these vents actually work. That's in. That one's in. That's the fresh air vents down there. And heat. See? I don't know which way around that went actually. Let's rotate that back around, because what I need to do is put this cable back on. So this is the hot cold control. Clamps onto the side of the heating unit here, underneath this little fella. Goes through that black plastic lug that I just mentioned I found, which goes in there. No, sorry, it goes the other way around, Richard. Goes in the other side. Don't lose it, Richard. There it goes. So that goes in like that, and then that goes in like that, and then clips into that little module. Just put that underneath it, and I should then be able to just push it down. Clip. There we are, that's clipped. And then what we'll do is we'll adjust this so that I can see the rusty mark on here where the clip held it before. So guess what, it's going to go back in exactly the same position. With a screw for now. Just check you are recording. Screw, that's in. So now, hot and cold. What it needs to do really is mount this onto here, I think it mounts on like that. It does. So that flap right at the bottom there is working, and the flap in the middle is working. That's good. That's all in place. Other controls we've got are on the front here. So we've got the fresh air vent on the fascia, which comes off this control here. And all I really do is put the metal rod down inside the screw connector. Just clips into place. What we want to do is to make sure that we get it roughly in the right sort of place. So that's the open position. Does it open any more than that? Fresh air vent. Does it open any more than that? No, that was it. So it's just a case now of that clips. Same with the bottom one down here. So this one down here on the other side, this is the footwell screen vent control. I need to move him over there. So that's currently on screen. Just position it roughly in the right sort of place, just so I can find out whether it is. Push it right up. So I'm pushing the flap right up as high as it will go. And now it's right down at the bottom and completely blocked off and right at the top. So that one's working as well. So that's the hot, cold, screen, and footwell, and fresh air. Now the only thing is on mine, the screen goes one extra clip, but it's a slightly newer matrix, heating unit in this one. Right, now we know that they're all working. Let's poke that all the way through there and put the rest of the clips on this thing. Now, there are quite a few of these fellas, these metal clips, go around and about. It's just a case of finding each one. Next thing, switches. Two switches fit on here. So the loom goes that way. There are two switches. One goes there, and this is the 4-speed control. And the other one is the fresh air and recircle vent switch. Right, so this one goes on here, just screw on. Nothing particularly complex about it. Sort the loom out in a second. One more electrical connection we need to do, and that's the vacuum switch for the fresh air at the back here. I'll show you how that one goes together. This loom, now I just tuck it away behind the fascia vent loop there, plug it into the electric motor there, and that's the connector that goes into the main part of the loom. Okay, and that's that. Now I've got all these vents and things. These all need to go back on. That's the other side. What I'll do though, I'll do this bit next. I won't lose that secret. We've got two wires that need to go up to here. So this side of duct fader, these two wires go up to and connect onto this little vacuum switch. Now I know the vacuum module works. This is the easy way of testing it, is because you take the pipe off it and it goes in and out. That needs to go onto there, and then two screws up here, and that goes on there. This is the thing that allows you to open the front vent on the heater unit and allows the fresh air into the car. So sometimes if your car is freezing cold, it's because this vent is wedged open, and if it's boiling hot in the summer, then it's not. Right, okay, see if it works. Oh, I suck at my job. Right, okay. Right, okay. I can't remember which way around this went now. We'll have to test it out in a second. What we'll do is we'll put this on that way so I can access the screw connectors, the terminals on it. We're going to have to wire it up to the battery again, just to double check the flap opens, so to speak. It could well be that there's a screw missing there. It could well be brain is not working here. Yeah, it's going to go that way round, otherwise it would interfere with the bulkhead. Put that in there. That's on. This fella, it's quite useful, goes over the two pipes there and insulates against crap coming in from the engine bay, because obviously they go through the bulkhead. I haven't put the foams, but I've got the original foams that I managed to get off intact. They need to be glued and back. This one on. Just keeping the loom out of the way. I don't think that's going to interfere with the hot and cold actuation, but we will find out in our bench test. I'll tell you one place I didn't clean out here. Cleaned out everywhere else. I'm shouting at the screen as well. So how did I clean this thing up? Hand wipes, to be honest. The worst of the crap I vacuumed out, but it's hand wipes. It's the easiest way of getting all this shit out of here. I mean, look at it. It's with a Bolton. It's just all kind of Portuguese dust. On that one. I can't find something a bit more sensible to do my testing with, haven't I? Negative. That's good, isn't it? Screen vents all strong. Halfway, yeah, that works. It's not going to show me the heat, unfortunately, but I can detect that I'm still going to have the same flow coming through it. Right, what I want to test now is this thing over here. So some rubber pipe somewhere. That works. I have the fascia vent control here. But basically, whatever the middle position is, closes off the fresh air, which is the recirculation kind of feature. So that all works. I'm happy with that. from the foams around here and around the back. I just need to get some glue for those, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed that.